always, always, always going to be a problem. Check this out.
For a considerable amount of time, which I thought was awesome because it's so Caitlin Clark spoke out today for a considerable amount of time, which I thought was awesome because it's been almost 9 days that she stayed silent while the next civil war was brewing. But, better late than never, right? And so I think what she had to say, a lot of people will find very cool because she really...
Caitlin Clark has repeatedly stood up on behalf of black players and legends of the league since her first season. She pushed for better pay for players before the new collective bargaining agreement was signed, and helped bring more attention and money into the sport overall. Still, according to critics, none of it seems to satisfy them. Even after her recent press conference remarks, some commentators continued labeling her actions as racially motivated, arguing that whatever she does will never be seen as sufficient by certain segments of her critics.
And so I think what she had to say, a lot of people will find very cool because she really talked about investing in officiating. And she said, look, let's start with treating the referees better, which I hope she says that to herself in the mirror because, girl. But
okay, shot fired already. Shots being fired already. Okay.
She also said, hey, let's pay these people like they are full-time employees because it's a hard job. I thought that was really awesome. She also said, hey, let's invest in better technology.
Clark broke her silence after nearly 9 days of staying quiet during a heated controversy in the league. When she finally spoke, she addressed several issues directly. She called for referees to be treated with more respect and fairness, urging that officials be compensated as full-time workers given the demands of the job. She also pushed for better technology to support officiating decisions.
Job. I thought that was really awesome. She also said, hey, let's invest in better technology to help them out. So all this was great, like harping on the officiating and saying like, it's bad, but we can fix it. And she went on to say, look, that was a flagrant foul. And there are other players in this league that are recipients of those type of fouls that do not get caught. So we got to fix this. All great. Then she turned to the media saying, look, you're taking this story to angles that it shouldn't be, and it's not helping our league. We need to fix that.
She pointed out that a recent flagrant foul call highlighted a broader pattern where other players receive similar rough treatment without penalty, meaning the league needs consistency. She criticized media coverage for spinning storylines in directions that damage the sport rather than help it. She closed her remarks by condemning hate and harassment aimed at players. Despite covering all these points, one particular group found something to like in her statement. According to critics, those with prejudiced views.
Shouldn't be, and it's not helping our league. We need to fix that. And then she went on to denounce hate and harassment. All good. Most people will find this a great statement.
All right, here she goes. This is where nothing Caitlin Clark does or says is enough for these people. And this is why Caitlin Clark just shouldn't even say nothing else about it. Let it be.
But there's one group who will absolutely love what she said. And that's the racist. Because it's not what she said. It's what she didn't say. She didn't call them out specifically.
The complaint wasn't about what she said, but about what she left out. She didn't call out specific individuals or groups by name for bigoted or discriminatory behavior. Because she avoided naming names directly, some viewers argued her statement fell short and didn't go far enough. According to this line of criticism, staying vague on this issue keeps support intact among people with discriminatory attitudes toward the league, while still appearing admirable to casual observers.
It's what she didn't say. She didn't call them out specifically. She didn't say, hey, you racist, you bigoted, you homophobic motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of our league. There's no room for your shit. She doesn't have to curse like me. But
because she didn't go about it that way and just cursing and doing all of that, what she said wasn't enough. It didn't matter. This is what I'm saying. Nothing she do is ever going to be enough for these people.
But bitch, you got to be specific. And that is why she doesn't have to curse like me, but bitch, you got to be specific. And that is why we don't.
Critics argued that when someone becomes a symbol used to justify prejudice or is used as a tool against teammates, silence on specifics isn't good enough. People notice what goes unsaid as much as what gets said. The broader argument being made is that no matter what she says, it will never be enough for a certain group of critics, and that she'd be better off focusing on basketball and distancing herself from the current organization and coaching staff, potentially seeking a fresh start elsewhere. There's also frustration directed at claims that Clark and her team carefully crafted a diplomatic statement after over a week of silence, specifically to avoid saying anything more pointed. The overall takeaway from supporters is that she should stop engaging with critics altogether, since nothing she offers changes their stance, and instead focus on her performance on the court while letting negative commentary continue unaddressed.
And that is why we don't trust you, Blueberry Turnover. Because she knows all she has to do is the bare minimum. It keeps her support with the racists copacetic. It makes everybody else feel good. Oh, see, what a leader. No. When you're being propped up for racism, you gotta say it. When you're being used as a symbol for bigotry, you gotta say it. When you're being used to attack your black teammates, you gotta fucking say it. Because people don't just hear.
Colin Cowherd also weighed in on a separate development. A vote among WNBA players ranked Clark as only the 11th best guard in the league. He treated the ranking as absurd, noting that fans ranked her second overall and media outlets ranked her third, yet players placed her behind names like Kelsey Mitchell and Marina Mabrey. Indiana's offense is averaging 94 points per game, the franchise's highest scoring output in 16 years, largely credited to Clark's shooting, pass-making, and playmaking, statistics that rank her among the league leaders in scoring and assists. Cowherd found it hard to reconcile those numbers with an 11th place ranking for a guard.
Fucking say it, because people don't just hear what you say, they hear what you don't say.
Nothing Caitlin Clark says is going to be enough for these people. Nothing. And this is why Caitlin needs to leave this alone. Just go hoop, do your thing, get the hell away from Stephanie White, if possible, immediately. Go to another organization. Just get away from this organization and don't pay these people no mind. Nothing you do is going to be enough for them, ever.
And Blueberry, you made damn sure that in that 9 days of not saying.
He connected this to broader frustration with league officiating and management decisions, citing an anniversary poster released by the league that reportedly excluded Clark's likeness due to a separate contractual issue, despite backlash being predictable. He clarified that his criticism targets league management and officiating rather than the players themselves, expressing respect for their work ethic, skill level, and the physical demands of the sport. Still, he argued the guard ranking and related decisions make it difficult to take certain aspects of league operations seriously, calling the situation more amusing than upsetting at this point. The situation was already brewing, and it kept building through the morning.
Made damn sure that in that 9 days of not saying anything, that you were going to get up here, you and your PR team was going to construct something where you don't have to say what really needs to be said. So those are my thoughts on the situation.
That's nasty work. This is why I said, bro, Caitlin just don't need to say nothing no more. Nothing she say is ever enough for these people. It's always going to be a problem. Just let them be. Let them be. You go be great. Let them keep hating. Let them keep being the negative Nancys that they.
Several attempts were made to put this reaction together, and technical hiccups slowed things down along the way. The bigger story that surfaced overnight was that Indiana Fever supporters had jeered Stephanie White during a public appearance. Nobody needs to rewatch the earlier clip where she dismisses the crowd and brushes them off entirely, or where she insists she never noticed a moment that fans managed to capture and share within seconds, one of which had already circulated widely the night before. Viewers tore apart her explanation once it became obvious she was staring directly at the incident as it happened.
12 seconds to post still shots and videos, one of which I played last night during my, kind of reaction, my reaction to her, where people just, they crapped all over her theory, where she's blatantly looking directly at the play. She's trying to backtrack, but she's trying to crap on the fans at the same time. She tries to act like it's all the online community. Really? Is that why the actual fans in the arena?
She appears to be walking back her comments while simultaneously blaming supporters for the backlash. Her go-to move is pointing at online trolls, but that doesn't explain why people physically inside the venue were the ones jeering. What's becoming clear is that certain figures within the league, both athletes and coaching staff, weren't prepared for this level of attention, The spotlight, the expanding audience, none of it matches what they signed up for.
Community, really? Is that why the actual fans in the arena booed you? Was that the online community you're referring to? What we're finding out, folks, is the WNBA has a group of players and coaches that were not ready for the big time. They were not ready for the spotlight. They were not ready for the growth. They can't handle the new fan. The Indiana.
The Fever organization finds itself in an especially odd spot, with a coach who appears unable to tolerate the very supporters funding the operation, seemingly because she senses they aren't interested in her personal causes or talking points. They simply want to watch solid basketball. Weeks earlier, she essentially told the fan base they weren't wanted. Then, during the most recent media session, she delivered what might be the most tone-deaf remarks ever given at a post-game podium, essentially telling the crowd to get lost.
Indiana Fever's got a particularly interesting scenario because they got somebody like Stephanie White in charge who cannot stand her own fans because she knows her own fans don't want to hear about her agenda and her lifestyle. They just want to see good, competent basketball. 3 weeks ago, she told fan base, "We don't need you here. Go away."
The crowd responded with boos. Critics pointed out she failed to protect her roster, failed to stand up for one player after a rough sequence involving another opposing athlete. People aren't imagining this. They're not making it up.
She told fan base, "We don't need you here. Go away." Last night, she conducted the most unprofessional press conference remarks in the history of sports, where she told fans to go to hell. The fans heard her and booed loudly. You didn't have your players back. Then, Alyssa Thomas, you didn't have Sophie Cunningham's back. You can pound the table until your fist breaks. We're not blind. Until your fist breaks. We're not blind. We're not stupid. We're not making things up. We hear you. We see you. Nobody gives a shit if you don't like how it's interpreted. Last night was unprofessional. Adam Silver, frankly, if the Pacers don't have the balls to remove her as coach, Adam Silver should, to be honest with you,
Engagement numbers on the incident tell their own story. Thousands of reactions, thousands of comments, a ratio that speaks for itself. Commentary online called it shameful that she misled everyone, noting how quickly the story spread. People mocked the idea that kindness wins, given how the situation unfolded, calling her unconvincing and unpleasant, on top of being viewed as a subpar coach. A well-known conservative commentator with a massive social following showed up in the comment threads of the team's posts, which only reinforces the broader point. This franchise wasn't ready for the growth.
Adam Silver should, to be honest with you, Adam Silver should suspend her over her comments last night, telling fans to go to hell. She should be suspended. She should be fired, but this league, they're too weak. Look at this ratio, folks. 3.3 thousand likes, 5,000 comments. It's a shame she lied to everyone. I mean,
they can't handle scrutiny, can't handle criticism. If she's tracking every hot take, every cable news segment, every commentator's opinion, that raises questions about where her focus actually lies as a coach. She also stood behind an opposing player who delivered what looked like an intentional blow to Sophie Cunningham, while claiming she hadn't seen it live, a claim widely called dishonest given footage showing her looking right at the play. Analysts described it as a classic pattern for her, arguing she should step down because she can't handle the pressure of the position, that the outburst revealed her unraveling.
I mean, this came out at record speed. Kindness will win. Will it? Nothing about this is believable. What a nasty, nasty, unlikable person. She's a terrible coach on top of it. In case no one told you, this post got a bad ratio. A historically bad ratio.
In their view, she consistently fails to defend her own team and instead caters to whatever narrative certain groups want to hear. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark expressed frustration that fans had booed her coach. Commentary pushed back, arguing that as a paid professional, White answers to the ticket-buying public, and if she can't handle criticism, she should find another line of work. In her own remarks, Clark noted that everyone forgets coaches are human too, that there are difficult stretches even for people with tough exteriors, and that division and negativity seem to dominate public discourse rather than support.
Tim Young, the great Tim Young, comedian, speaker, is in the comments of the Fever. And this is my point. Stephanie White and the Fever weren't ready to grow. They can't handle it. She can't handle the coverage. She can't handle the criticism. If she's paying this much attention to what's being said, what are you doing as a coach exactly? Because
she said she'd personally reassured her coach before the game, confident the team wouldn't lose that night for her sake, adding that hearing fans boo her coach beforehand was genuinely upsetting. Reaction to Clark's expression turned skeptical, describing her look as one bordering on resentment toward the very fans who pay to watch her play. Analysts argued that while Clark and teammate Sophie Cunningham weren't going to publicly throw their coach under the bus, that loyalty apparently isn't mutual. It was suggested that Clark lacks representation willing to advise her to distance herself from White, implying an unspoken alliance protecting the coach from honest criticism.